Hi guys!
Hey everybody!
Welcome back to Live Vulnerably.
We have gotten a good number of questions over email and direct messaging asking us about the awesome parts of marriage. I think there have been a few people kind of watching our videos and seeing what we're doing, and it's like, oh, it's conflict resolution and not connected to your heart and fear, and they're like, what's great about marriage, or like what's great about your relationship that keeps you together? So I think we want to speak on this video about what is awesome, what we enjoy about marriage and life with each other, and some things that keep us together, right?
Yeah. So to start, just a little bit about how we met. We touched on it briefly in one of our last posts. Coburn was visiting. I was living here on Maui, and Coburn was visiting a mutual friend, and he's very like social and extroverted, and was like, oh, I'm doing this, do you want to come? Oh, I'm doing this, do you want to come? And it really wasn't flirtatious in any way.
We just met at at a group night that our friend was doing the first night I had landed, and we ended up exchanging numbers purely out of convenience.
Not even
funny.
Convenience, but it was almost like a business thing. Coburn was looking for a rental car, and I hadn't, when I moved over, I didn't ship my car with me, so for 6 months I was just renting cars when I needed to drive further away than I was. So,
and fun fact, we don't have a car now still, so we rent cars a lot, and every time we rent a car, it's always like, thank the fact that I didn't plan and needed a rental car for the reason that we're even together.
It's funny because we were discussing that, would we have even talked if you hadn't have needed to rent a car? Probably not.
Maybe not. But we exchanged numbers, and I was like, hey, new person I met, I'm thinking of doing a hike later this week while I'm on Maui. Do you know of any good hikes, or do you want to join?
And I knew of a great hike, and I was like, well, I don't work on Thursday. And so in my perspective, I was very happily single, living on Maui, not about a dating thing. And I was like, oh, I'm just going to take this random guy who I'll never see again up this cool hike, and I'll be like that cool Hawaiian person who, oh, she lives on Maui, the island girl who took me on a hike. Okay, bye. That was my plan. But that's really where we started, was on a hike, which was fun. So I think one thing I really appreciate about Coburn is the fact that he's also very adventurous. And adventurous in almost different ways than me. So I think we propel each other into adventure. And part of what I mean by that and appreciate about him is he's very brave in the way that he lives his life. We've moved
many times.
Enough where it's been very challenging.
Very transient. And we're actually going to do another video about what are the actual specifics of some of the difficulties, and we're going to talk a little bit about that.
Back to the difficulties.
For this video.
So I just appreciate that I married someone who is adventurous and brave and doesn't mind being transient, because that's something that I really value. I love being able to just pick up my stuff and go somewhere new. And so I'm really happy and thankful that I married a person like Coburn who's super adventurous like that.
On that first hike, we also talked a ton about dreams of the future. We talked a lot about what things we had gone through in the past. We talked about things that we loved. We talked about people, and we talked about creativity, and we talked about animals, and our birthdays are the same month, and
our middle names both start with K and end in Y.
So we were just oh, this is fun. Just so many fun little things that we have in common. Yeah. We also, one fun thing that we talked about on that very first hike was, what would your dream house look like someday? And as I started describing what it would look like, she started adding to it as well. And I was like, yes, exactly. She's and it has, the balcony. And I was like, yeah, exactly.
And lots of glass and stone and wood and a tree inside, maybe.
And we realized we were envisioning the same dream house.
So that was very cool.
That's kind of cool too, when we share that story. We actually have a good friend who drew that house for us, sort of prophetically too, which is pretty neat.
Without ever having heard the story, which was super fun.
Yeah, so that's another thing that's been awesome, has been community around us who really champion who we are as a couple.
Yeah.
And shout outs to all of you, I guess, if you're watching.
Thank you. But it's just really good to have community support, and that's one thing that's been really fun about marriage, is our communities colliding. I think we both brought really rich, beautiful humans into each other's lives, and so the crossover was really, really special.
That's true.
So that's really a wonderful thing about relationships, is when you find someone with a strong community, you get to adopt lots of lots of friends.
Yes.
And make them your own.
Yes. Another thing about our marriage, and that is important to know about marriage in general, is that you are going to marry into someone else's family. And a big win for us is we like each other's families a lot, which is huge.
Yes.
So that's really good.
And they like us back, which has been really wonderful. Coburn has we both just have sisters. And so I've heard a lot where when you marry the only brother, there's like some maybe like weird, like the sisters are protective of their only brother, but everyone's been really loving, so thanks everyone.
And same on Alicia's side of the family. I was just welcomed with open arms. So that's also been a good thing, because I know that can be challenging for a lot of people in couples, and that's a big win for us, is just really getting along with each other's families.
Yeah.
What else has been awesome? I know there's many things.
Yeah, I really like having someone who challenges me, and to be totally honest, I hate that also. Because it's neat to have someone who knows my heart but also knows my weaknesses, because on like the other side of growth, I'm always thankful that I have Coburn to pull me into new places that I probably just didn't go myself. So we've grown a lot together, and that's something really special and really challenging, and really, maybe I'll spin it, it's really challenging and really special, because you become more together, I think. And it's not a matter of like completing each other. Like I would say you and I are both very strong individuals.
That's true.
Apart from each other, and like even like I've had thoughts before, like maybe I'll never get married, and I think that would be totally okay.
Before you met me.
Before, right. Now I am married, so no more of those thoughts. But I just feel like being such independent people, we've brought a lot of that into our relationship.
That's very true.
And so, yeah, it's been really nice to have you as my adventure friend.
Same. It works both ways. I was telling a friend the other day, I like who I am married better than when I was single, because for all the difficulties we've talked about, Alicia challenges / pushes me and pulls me up in the best way. Really just makes me, I think, a better version of myself. I think one of our phones is ringing in the background.
If you can
so
hear that, we're sorry.
You hear that little buzz. Sorry about that. That's probably also a cue that we should go soon. But I did want to elaborate on that. Alicia's view of people and her view of the world around us is just so, it's beautiful and it's life-giving, and it sees everything and everybody around us like at their fullest potential. And for me, who I'm an optimist and I'm like enthusiastic, but like deep down I've got like quite a bit of cynicism about the world and about people. And when like the darkest part comes out, I am willing to like write everything and everybody off, which is not a thing I like about myself, but Alicia calls me higher. She pulls me higher in that. And she's just kind of like, hey, but think of who that person really is, or think of what that situation really is saying, and think of the growth opportunity. And I think we make a good team for that reason.
That's really sweet. Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's funny because Coburn, you do the same for me, but like as an individual, I'm quite emotional. I'm a feeler, so I'm feeling all the things, and I, in my life, on the unhealthy side of that, tend to wallow a little bit. So where maybe I help you pull out of like other human cynicism, Coburn really helps me pull myself out of some of those darker places of just like I don't know, like self-pity and frustration. Coburn's really good at helping me learn how to celebrate.
And encouraging you.
And encouraging me. Yeah.
I know. I like celebrating you.
Thank you. You're good at it. He's a very celebratory human.
Yay! On that note, we have a lot of great things coming up on the Vulnerably. We've got a few different videos planned for the next few days, couple weeks. We're talking a little bit about the transition we're doing here on this channel. We've got some of the specifics of difficulties. We've got a few more organic videos that we're going to just try to be sharing with you on a somewhat consistent basis. But we appreciate you guys tuning in.
Yes, and we want to hear from you too. So if you have any questions about anything we've said, if maybe our thoughts, like this is our story, so we've told it a whole bunch of times, so maybe we didn't say something super clear. If you have a question, let us know, but we also want to hear about how you guys are enjoying your relationships, or even just how you feel about being single, or any questions you have about that. We would love for the comment section
right here
somewhere below to be like a place of like, oh cool, this is really awesome about my life, and oh, I really like this about myself or my spouse or my whomever.
Yay!
All right, well thanks guys, have a good day.
See ya.
Bye.